boats and
What?
motorcycles.
I was gonna say, he's got a
That's a,
sailboat, I know that.
that's a separate category.
She was like, oh, I tried to
Three
glue
boats
it.
and three motorcycles and two boats.
No,
Yeah.
it's not
So
gonna work.
what about these funds that you collected?
She was a mess.
Have,
I just
You ready?
Cars and I got matchboxes.
okay.
I call this meeting of the Olney City Council, August 28th, 2023 to order. Please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing as the Reverend Joel Harrison says our opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we thank you for today. God, we thank you for these council men and women and their service to our city. And Father, I pray that you be with them, lead them and guide them in this meeting and as they lead in our community. Father, I pray that they will seek what is best for our community, to be able to lift people up, that this can be a community where people desire to be, where people will thrive to be, where people will be able to just honor you throughout their lives. Father, we thank you for leadership, and God, may we always look to you as the greatest leader there is. May we learn from your example. May we learn from the example of Jesus, who led with compassion and honor and humility. God, we thank you so much for your love. We thank you for Jesus, through whom we have life and hope. It's in your name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Eichhorst.
Present.
Councilman Iyer.
Present.
Councilwoman Fehrenbacher.
Present.
Councilman McLaughlin.
Here.
Mayor Lambert.
Here, first item on the agenda is public comments and presentations. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Seeing none. Presentation of the consent agenda, which includes to approve minutes of the council meeting on August 14th, 2023. Approve and authorize payments of accounts payable August 29th, 2023. A raffle license from the St. Joseph Church. An ordinance to authorize the sale of items of personal property owned by the city of Olney, a 1984 International tractor from the Parks and Rec Cemetery Department. And these items need to be removed from the consent agenda. I would accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, presentation of ordinances and resolutions. First item is a request for a Class S liquor license for the BPOE number 926, Elks Lodge. Mr. Gassman.
Yes.
Any questions for Mr. Gassman about the request? I believe this is in conjunction with the Bluegrass Festival coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the White Squirrel Bluegrass Festival on.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a request for permission to use fireworks at the RCHS homecoming football game. Coach Carter.
Alright, so we had first off, I'm Luke Carvey, I'm the head football coach at the high school. We had the opportunity to have fireworks shot off at our homecoming game on 10/6/2023. And a man named Travis Wilcox approached us with this opportunity. He's raised all of the funds for it. So he just wants to make sure that we can get permission to be able to do that. And if you guys have any questions, I can do my best to answer that.
I remember we approved this years ago, probably when I first got on the council. I don't remember when it was.
2014.
But did we have any issues? But you would have been here back then, right, Rusty?
Yeah, when I was here, I don't know exactly what the council's done in the days since then. We had a problem back then because they weren't licensed or anything like that, and I had an issue because he wasn't licensed, or they just wanted to shoot him off and that kind of thing. But as long as this gentleman, my understanding is that he is licensed, you know, he does this, he's licensed to the fire marshal's office and all that. That being the case, I have no problem with him doing it. So, as long as, you know, you guys have an ordinance or something in place, or you allow them to do it, based on those things that I stated, I don't have a problem with it. So, I may wanna go out and take a look at some point.
Yes, for sure. I do know that he is doing this for a couple of other area schools. I believe Robinson and Lawrenceville as well, so.
Questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
Motion to
Second.
approve, seconded. Any further discussion? Further discussion. Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Yes, I'll get out of here.
Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action, presentation and acceptance of fiscal year 2022-2023 financial audit and 2022-2023 tax increment financing fund audit. Ms. McLaren.
Good evening. I am here tonight to present the audit for the year ended April 30th, 2023. So Kemper has audited both the City of Olney's financial statements as well as the TIF district, making sure that it is in compliance with the Illinois state statutes. So you have in front of you the bound financial statements. These numbers are as of April 30th. First of all, our opinion is what's considered a clean audit opinion. It means that the financial statements materially reflect the financial position of the city as of April 30th. The financial statements are on the modified cash basis, meaning revenue is when cash is received and expenses are when cash is dispersed. The financial statements of the fiduciary funds, which are the police and fire pension, we modify our opinion for that because we state those investments at fair market value as opposed to at cost. But it's still a clean audit opinion. We found no material weaknesses in internal control when performing our procedures. Our audit includes all of the funds of the City of Olney. This includes your major funds such as your general fund, the water, wastewater. Also includes procedures performed over the City of Olney Library as well. I will go through a few numbers, and certainly if you have any additional questions, or if you have questions at a later date and time, please feel free to ask me at any time. On page 6, the middle column, the middle part of the page is a general column. That is your general fund. It included total assets as of April 30th of $9 million of cash. You do have a fire truck loan that's still being paid off. That's $227,000 that is still owed on that. But otherwise, no other obligations of the city. The only liability that's on there is repaying the K-9, the $35,000 that was received that has been approved to return back. The other governmental funds in the middle, that includes the IMRF, the insurance fund, the TIF funds, the business district fund, as well as the motor fuel tax funds. Total cash in all of those funds combines to $3 million. On the next page, page 7, this is kind of your net income, if you will, the amount by which cash received exceeded cash dispersed. The third number from the bottom represents the net income for the year. You can see the net change in fund balance in the general fund was $1,580,000. That's a favorable number, so you're in the black. Very good thing. Same with all of the other funds, totaled $143,000 favorable. The general fund, that $1.5 million, I will point out that includes $590,000 of ARPA money. That's the final tranche of ARPA money that was to be received. So that's part of the reason why that is so high this year. But even excluding that amount, we continue to see sales tax increasing, income tax increasing, such that even without those funds, you would have still been in the black. We still see, as I said, the sales and income tax increasing. It's just not increasing quite as quick as a rate or as significant of a rate as what we saw during COVID, when we saw a significant spike in sales tax. There's a lot of local spending that was occurring. But the good news is that it is still increasing even as we've kind of normalized as far as the day-to-day activities. The other funds, the positive number of $143,000, all of those funds were favorable, such as IMRF, the insurance. They have a good amount of cash balances in there. The motor fuel tax and TIF did have more expenses than receipts, but that's based on the nature of the projects that they had going on during the year. Then on to the next page. So next we're going to jump you to page 9. The water fund had just over $5 million of cash on hand as of April 30th, with total debt of about $330,000. Meanwhile, total bonds payable, I should say, on your notes outstanding. The wastewater had $3.5 million of cash, while it had about $750,000 of bonds. Now, keep in mind, this is as of April 30th, so this does not reflect the balance of those the EPA bonds as of today, because this was just what had been expended and borrowed as of April 30th on the sewer bond. Then on page 10, you can see the change in net position. Water had an increase, the third row from the bottom, $288,000 in the black, whereas wastewater was $655,000 positive. So both funds positive. Water, even with some of the rising costs, you're able to keep that in the black. Chemicals, of course, have been rising. Water pump repairs, you had some repairs on some hydrants, backwashing repairs. So even with all of those increased costs, you're still staying right where you should be. The wastewater, also, while it had $655,000 of income, had the $225,000 forgiven loan in this fiscal year, in fiscal '23. That was the EPA loan where you got a portion of it forgiven. Then lastly, on page 12, the fire pension has cash of $70,000 with investments at fair value of $2.3 million, while the police pension has cash of $165,000 and investments at fair value of $6.5 million. And to put that into perspective, at this time last year, it was a very, very painful picture because of the unrealized loss that these investments had experienced with the nature of the environment, the economic environment. We started to see that rebounding as of April 30th, 2023, and hopefully continuing in the right direction upward. So we had favorable income in the fire and police pension funds this year, primarily because we're starting to see those investments start to rebound in their fair value of the holdings. So that kind of recaps at a high level the balances of the city as of April 30th. The TIF district had no findings in it as well. So with that, I'll take any questions that you might have.
Any questions, comments? Questions or comments? Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we need to approve this.
We do. I would accept a motion to approve the financial audit as provided.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Further discussion, seeing none, we will proceed to vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Do you have anything you want to say about the TIP fund?
Just that just what I mentioned, that there were no findings.
Okay. I would accept a motion to approve the tax increment financing number 3 fund report compliance.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a resolution to authorize execution of an amendment to the sewer and water line marketing license agreement between the City of Olney and the Utility Service Partners Private Label Incorporated, doing business as Service Line Warranties of America. Mr. Parker.
We currently have an agreement with Service Line Warranties of America that they use our backing or support in order to sell to our residents water and sewer line warranties. That's been a successful program for the city. They now have 2 additional programs they'd like to sell. One of them is interior plumbing and drainage warranty. The other one's a hot water warranty, hot water heater warranty. And we don't sell the warranty. We don't collect the money. We're not exposed to any liability here other than the residents. We offer that to them, or the Service Line Warranty offers it to them, and they bill them. So they're asking us to continue to allow them to do the 2 that they do, plus the 2 additional. Is that correct?
Questions, comments?
And we just basically let them use our logo and
That's right.
say that they're city approved, right? Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Further discussion, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an ordinance authorizing an intergovernmental agreement for participation in the Mutual Aid Box Alarm System, also known as MABUS Master Agreement 2022. Chief Holmes.
So, basically, this agreement has been around a really long time. This master agreement, I know we've we've signed agreements with our local Mavis Division 54s and things of that nature. But my understanding this has been around since 1988, so this is very old, it needs to be updated. So that was one of the reasons for this. The other reason, it simplifies the process for non-governmental agencies like ambulance services, things of that nature, to become a member of Mavis. And there's also neighboring states that want to become a part of Mavis, and I believe the older agreement did not allow for that. So it's another thing that's being allowed, are neighboring states that want to become a part of this Mavis agreement. So that's kind of the more major reasons as to why this has come about. In order for us to remain in Mavis, which I believe is advantageous for us, not just because we have the opportunity to get aid from other departments when we need it, but also the potential for grant funding. It always asks about mutual aid and do we have any mutual aid agreements, and this is a big one that we can check that box on. So, and that's kind of the reason for this.
Questions,
There's a lot
comments?
of legal language in there. I'm not an attorney, but a lot of it looked to me like it has to do with the state lines and things of that nature.
Questions, comments, or a motion to approve?
Motion for approval?
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a resolution to accept a quote for clock safety camera installation and waive formal bidding procedures and amend the 2023-2024 budget. Chief Bloomer.
Members of the council, I've already made you aware, with past conversation of the flock safety cameras. It's an automatic license plate reader. Basically what this does, and I know the question has been asked, it's not a license plate reader that's gonna catch you speeding. It's not gonna, say that you ran a stop sign, things like that. What this is it's actually a license plate reader and also a vehicle reader. So it will detect a certain type of vehicle if we're looking for it. It's new technology. It's been out since 2017, but still newer evolving technology that is only getting better and smarter for law enforcement. Basically, it would be a good tool for our guys to use to enforce different crimes. What the cost is, we're looking at 4 cameras. It's $3,000 a year per camera. That's a total of $12,000, and also one-time $1,900 per install for IDOT. So it's a fee where they go ahead and do all the legwork, get approval, put it on the highways, things like that. The total cost of this project is going to be $19,600. It is a 2-year agreement, and on average, it takes about 3 months to get everything through and passed. The funds that we're looking at using is through the cannabis tax. We have $40,000+ in that account that is directed towards crime prevention. With these cameras, they're mounted on a pole. It uses solar power and cell phone technology, the LTE. So basically, they're self-sufficient. We lease the cameras. So with these cameras, if they're damaged, they get replaced. If it's weathered, where there's a malfunction, it gets replaced. That's no additional cost to us because we don't own the equipment. Basically, we're leasing it through this company. The cameras are constantly working. It looks at vehicle descriptors and license plate. It doesn't look at the people. So it's not going to be a facial recognition or anything like that. It only looks at the vehicle. And that data is stored for 30 days unless we have an active investigation, which we'll have policies erected for that. So, the privacy issue is usually the big question. If we have an active investigation, then we'll save it. If not, there's 30 days and then the information is gone. What it does is it's updated 2 times a day through LEADS and 4 times a day through NCIC. So basically, LEADS is what we use day to day. NCIC is what we use day to day. The LEADS is the state database where it gives us information on driver status through our state, criminal history like warrants, things like that, and the license plate status, if it's revoked, suspended, things like that. The NCIC is for like missing persons, criminal investigation, multi-state warrants. This is what we do every day in our squad cars. So we drive around, we have our squad cars, we either call in a plate to dispatch or a person. Same thing with the computer, and we get the results. So basically, we're getting those results from the cameras. These cameras are stationary. They will send out a notification if there's a valid hit within 5 to 15 seconds of the officers. So, car passes through the camera. It's a wanted on a felony warrant or something like that. It'll give our officers notification. This car passed at this time. We'll get a cell phone notification, and we'll also get a notification in our in-car computer. So if the guys are, have their department phones, if the guys are sitting in the car, we will get that notification whenever it goes through. What it'll hit on is a variety of things. And what I mean hit on, what it'll give notification for is a variety of things. We can do what's called a hot file. So if we have an active investigation, if there was a vehicle, that was parked at a gas station and, there was, something stolen. It might not have the information entered in the license plate. We give the information, hey, it's a gray Toyota Camry, 2015, or thereabouts. So any car that passes matching that description, or it can be as general as a gray Toyota. Any car that goes through the description, it'll show the license plate, it'll give us a lead, something that we can do. Kind of a real-time example is, not too long ago, actually last week, Clay County had a stolen truck. It had markings on it. They reported the truck stolen. The guy went over towards Noble, tried to break into a few residences. Had we had that information, we could have entered it into these camera systems. If it would have came through our town, our officers would have had notification that this person's in our town. The time, location, and how many times he's gone through the town. Because again, it'll store that data for 30 days. So, again, if it's an older case, that'd be very useful. We can share hot file information with other agencies. Right now, Crawford County is Crawford County is getting these cameras. The Robinson Police Department is on the verge of, and there's surrounding counties that are looking at getting this. If we go ahead and notify them, we notify Crawford County, hey, would you share your hot files with us, and vice versa. It's information sharing between department agencies. If we have a hit from a potential retail theft from Crawford County, go through our area, we'd be able to locate the vehicle. Same thing for them. If we have something that we enter in, Crawford County would be able to basically flag the vehicle and stop it. Also, what it'll do is it'll give a hit for Amber Alert, Silver Alert, missing persons, a stolen vehicle, fraudulent plates, revoked and suspended driver status on the registered only, vehicle owner only, and again for felony warrants. Basically, again, it's technology that I think is pretty state-of-the-art. It's ever evolving. It's smart technology. Stores it for 30 days. After that, it's purged from the system. And basically, I mean, that's all I have for the presentation. Does anybody have any questions or anything I can answer?
Questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Now, what's the timeline?
3 months. So I notified the spokesperson and I said, hey, if it is approved, we'd be ready to hopefully move forward with it. He said it's 3 months. However, IDOT is working a lot better with them because they understand what it's about. As many as they're starting to install, at maximum, I would say 3 months, but probably sooner than that.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is discussion of possible action on vandalism. Mr. Iyer.
You probably have all noticed some of the graffiti downtown within a 2-block radius. We'll start at the corner of Fair and Main Street on the traffic pedestal. the markings, to my visibility, say SOG, SOG. We go across the street, Arcadia, that same thing. Across the street from the Arcadia, the Penny's building, you painted over it, and I appreciate that, but I'm not sure what did it say. Did it also say SOG on there? We go over to the car wash, same thing, and then go over to FTC, ITC, the cross.
CTF.
CTF, thank you.
That
CTF.
was, you knew his letters.
Yeah, ITC, CTF. So that's five instances within a 2-block
I
radius.
think
Yeah.
there's one over here on the First National
There's
Bank.
one over
There-
here too.
there's-
So is
Yeah, the Houghton Building and Wildwoods, but I painted those over.
Yeah, thank
is
you.
this a gang? I associate graffiti with gang activity. So Chief, you can participate in this discussion as well. Is this a gang activity? Is it an individual? SOG, you Google it, and I know I have an SOG knife. It's a tactical knife company, but I don't think that's anything.
No
to do with
gangs that
this.
we're aware of. We don't have any leads. Of course, we're proactively policing the area, looking for cameras on the areas that have been hit. And again, I don't wanna jinx ourselves, however, we haven't seen anything new for a little while. I've also contacted the school resource officer to see if there is any kids talking about the graffiti. I hate to say all the tactics, but he's very open and looking at different things. My opinion always was, hey, it's gonna appear in school, whether it be on a notebook, whether it be on, school bathroom walls, things like that. At this time, we don't have that. And hopefully the damage is done and maybe they weren't
I mean,
permanent residents.
it was over just a few day period when that was done all, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. The last incident that we have reported is the 19th.
Okay. So obviously this is vandalism to private or commercial property, and it's up to the property owner then to either remediate the graffiti by painting over it or removing it, whatever procedure they deem correct. We as a city, even though it's a reflection on our city because it's so visible, we have no opportunity to do anything about this graffiti.
No.
Nothing. And the penalty for vandalism, if they file a report and file charges, would be just a misdemeanor. Is that my understanding?
It would probably, I mean, it'd have to be over $500 worth of damage to the felony.
Which is probably
Which
not.
that would be, I mean, I would think the paint alone would.
Which is kind of just a slap on the wrist.
Well,
slap
no,
on
I
the
mean,
hand.
are you saying you think it would be more than 500?
I would think, I mean, looking at painting the side of a building,
Yeah,
to repaint. I
the whole
mean,
side, for
yeah.
sure, yeah.
But again, would that be charged? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, at worst case scenario, it's only a class A misdemeanor, it could be a class 4, but if they're juveniles, we would detain, write our paperwork.
It just seems a very minimal consequence for what is such I think, an affront to the entire community. And I'm glad to understand that it happened in a short period of time and it clustered together and it doesn't seem to be continuing. Because something like this can escalate, if it's not nipped in the bud and kept on top of. I know the First Financial has probably security cameras for the drive-through. I don't know if that would have caught anything from FTC or anything. That was my only hope. Yeah. All right. I'm sure everyone is aware of, as I am, that we really don't want this to escalate. We just had the art show last weekend. We're gonna have the Blues Festival in 2 weeks. We got Fall Fest coming up. We're gonna have a lot of people coming into town. So I made contact with Dustin Smith, or left a message. He's not returned. I was gonna ask him if he would be willing to paint over his, and if he doesn't want to come over here from Flora, I would be willing to do that. Now that FTC is moved, I don't even know who owns that.
They still.
They still own it. I could talk to them. I mean, I can go paint over it if they'll allow me to.
Yeah, I could too, if just give
Yeah,
him permission to.
I mean,
And car wash, there's usually a manager walking around. If there was nobody over there, I talked to it twice that I stopped by. But I would like to see this, maybe if we could get them cleaned up before next, or at least the 9th. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further on that vandalism?
I would say, and I don't wanna interrupt, but, it's kinda like what Mr. Reed was saying, it's not the city's responsibility to cover the vandalism up. However, the problem is the longer it's up, the more kids see it, the more they wanna
It
participate in it.
tracks.
And I'm afraid you'll start having copycats and things like that.
Right, I'm just going to repeat what City Manager Barker said, but he said, and I agree, looking at the internet, the best way to prevent this is to quickly cover the, discourage them by quickly removing the graffiti. So we will pursue that. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. Anything further? Next item on the agenda, report from elected and appointed officials, status report, Mr. Berger.
I don't have anything additional. I think everything's pretty well been covered tonight, but I'll be glad to answer any questions if anybody would have.
Any questions or comments for the city manager? Questions or comments? Next item on the agenda, RCDC report, Ms. Herman? Nothing there. Chamber of Commerce report, Ms. Fehrenbach?
We had the Bike Classic on Saturday. There was a lot of children out there participating in that. So we had good weather and good numbers. So I think everyone had fun.
Very good. Thank you very much.
I did not get hit by the big bowling ball.
What's that?
I did not get hit by the big bowling ball.
Oh, great.
It came close, but
We can arrange for that next time.
maybe that could be a new game. I have somebody donate money, but they get hit by the bowling ball.
All right, next item on the agenda, Parks and Recreation Board report, nothing there. Tourism Board report, Ms.
Nothing there.
Nothing there. Anything further from any of our elected appointed officials? Anything further? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to enter into closed session to discuss the sale or lease price of real property, acquisition of real property, appointment, employment, compensation, and performance of specific employees, and collective negotiation matters. Is there a motion?
Motion.